afternoon and welcome to our Heritage Makers July Leadership Call. We're so glad that you have joined us, and sorry for a few minutes of little technical difficulties. The learning curve here. This is Patty Gardner, President of Heritage Makers, and again, we're excited to have you here. It is July already. Isn't that amazing? I was with my granddaughter yesterday, and she said, "Grandma, can we sing Jingle Bells?" And I thought, oh, wow, it's Christmas and it's July. Let's celebrate Christmas in July. And as I was reviewing this PowerPoint, I noticed the Christmas in July flyer. So what a fun month. We're on the second half of the year, and it's gone by so quickly. And so many exciting things ahead of us. That's what's fun. That's what I like about July. July is just a fun month. 4th of July for us U.S. citizens. And, it's a new start. It's the new start to the rest of the year, and which brings up a lot of family activities and gathering times and a busy season for Heritage Makers. So that's always exciting. While we're on July, let's focus on July and wish our July leaders, our birthday leaders, happy birthday. Donna Heitman, Hallie Red have already celebrated their birthday, July 1st babies. Congratulations to both of you. Melissa Navratil is on the 18th, and Sabrina Kopis is on the 23rd. So congratulations to you, and happy birthday. Be sure to recognize them on their Facebook, as I know you all do so well, on their actual birthdays. Let's go ahead and get started with our June, we'll go back a month, June recognition, and take a look at some of the activity that happened. Now, before we get into June, because this will slip my mind and I didn't create a slide, I wanted to give you as leaders an update on bonus. We actually ran bonus on the 9th, Monday, and it paid out today. And we had a small error. We do all of our testing in a bonus environment. We copy one system over to another so we can freely test in that. And then as soon as everything's great, we go ahead and run it in live. And sometimes there's those extra glitches that you just can't account for. And there was one yesterday, and of course it was at the end of the day, so we made a decision to go ahead and run. It affected about 50 consultants on the team building bonus. Any consultant earning a team building bonus who had a bronze level club wasn't getting their payment. And so that made a problem. We manually adjusted those of you leaders that had $500 or more that was coming. We just stuck that money into your account, even though it doesn't show up on your bonus statement. And so if you're looking at your deposit amount to your earnings amount from Heritage Makers in your account, they won't match. It's in the process of being rerun right now, so that it will be live and your statements will actually be correct. Also, those of you that will have consultants in your team that earn the $100 level and have not received that payment, that will go out today in an ACH deposit, so they'll have that in their account tomorrow. And when you start working with programming, all of a sudden this is an old program code that just snuck in there. No way to prevent that. But we did contact everyone last night and let them know about it. So just wanted to let you know, if you get any calls, give us until the end of today. You'll have your statements up. They'll be accurate, and deposits, everybody will be paid on time. So, all right, now let's go back to June, now that we took care of June bonus, and take a look at some of the recognition, the activity that happened with you leaders. Remember, this is leadership only recognition, and recognize you for that. And let's start with our top sponsors. Third place, Jen Zucker. I think she was in first place last month, had 3 new consultants. Way to go, Jen. Second place goes to Kelly Stobie with 4 new consultants. Kelly lives back east in Massachusetts. Both of these ladies are in Hallie Red's organization. And first place goes to Hallie Red with 7 new consultants. And congratulations to all of you for making that effort to build your team. I've got some exciting news for your new team members that you brought in. So listen up for later in the call on that. Let's talk about our new clubs in June, our top club consultants or leaders. Lisa Branch in third place brought in 14 new club members. Congratulations, Lisa. Way to go and earn those extra TAC points and incentive points. Pam Hanks has 15 new clubs. Again, maximize those incentive points. You get them for every 5. So way to go, Pam Hanks, right here in Payson, Utah. First place goes to Hallie Red with 17 new clubs. congratulations, all of you, on hitting those numbers. That's great examples to the field as well. Congratulations to Nicole Plaster. You've probably seen this in the virtual office, but she has reached her 100 club membership. And those of you who have already reached that are, you know what it feels like to have that 100 under your belt, and just exciting. So congratulations to Nicole for hitting that 100 club memberships, where it's always exciting to put those up and give you that extra recognition there. Next, let's recognize our leaders who hit 5 and 1, 5 new clubs and 1 new consultant in the month. And of course, it wasn't just 5. Many of them had even more clubs or more consultants, but this is the category that they hit. So congratulations to you. Earned an extra 5% bonus on your commission checks. So way to go. Our next category is our 10 and 2 category, and that goes to Amy Austin, Lisa Branch, Pam Hanks, Linda McCormick, Becky Raper, and Hallie Red, an extra 10% on their commission checks, as well as able to participate in that summer incentive, taking advantage of those extra TAC points, the Your Story, Your Way incentive, and those. So congratulations to you ladies for making that, setting that example with your teams. Next category, this we just started last month, and this was fun. I'm so glad that Brindy put this in. It's a lot of fun to see these next numbers. These are first times. So first time sponsoring. Within your team, you had one of your consultants sponsor for the first time, and we had Pam Hanks had one, Kim Clausen had one, and Hallie Red had somebody new in their team sponsor, and that's that duplication process. It's going to be great when this page is just filled up, so congratulations. Same thing, new active ranks. That means somebody in your team hit active for the very first time. Remember, you get 200 points when 200 TAC points and 200 incentive points when they do that. So all of these leaders had somebody in their team hit active, meaning next month they'll be on their way, or maybe even this month, on their way to hitting star. And that's where you're really building your team, not just sponsoring and building it that way, but that activity level. So congratulations to all of you for building that team. New star, same thing. Directors that had people in their consultants in their team hit star for the very first time. 400 TAC points for you, 400 incentive points for you, 400 incentive points for them for hitting new star rank. So congratulations. Lisa Branch had 2, Virginia Dixon 2, and Sharon and Candy had 2 as well. Heidi Arvey, Amy Austin, Sabrina Kopis, and Amy Dickerson each had 1. So way to go. All right, that is the end of our recognition for June. It was a good month. It was a summer month. You know, June is always kind of one of our harder months because it's the first real month of summer. Kids are out of school, so this was great to see this activity and team building. Now, July is always one of our busier months. Interesting that they kind of go back to back, you know, a lower month and then a very busy month for us in July. And that's because we're preparing for reunion. Those consultants, well, even you as leaders, trying to hit that rank advancement before reunion, or people in your team, consultants in your team, trying to do the same thing, as well as hitting President's Club prior to reunion. So it'll be fun to watch reunions now in September. It'll be fun to watch July and August be those prime months for building. Let's talk about reunion, since we were just hitting on that. And I know that we went over these slides on the company call, and they're also on the new reunion website, which has been updated. You can check there as well. But just again, wanted to quickly go over this. And I'm not going to go into detail because you can see it on the screen. There's Thursday activity, Friday activity. We have a President's Club breakfast in the morning, general session. Early store entry, we'll run the promotion for that. And we have our speakers lunch during that time. Now that was an interesting thing. I've had a couple questions about that. The reason that we did that is most of our presenters will probably be in President's Club. And so what we figured was that they'll have already gone to store, and most of their consultants will be in line going to store during lunch so they won't be missed then. So it's an opportunity for us to recognize our presenters because they do a lot of work at Reunion. Those afternoon workshops, which is what we're going to get into in just a minute, they're so important to the whole feeling and what we get from Reunion. And so we like to recognize them and have lunch with them. And so that is a great time to do that. Usually we do that in the morning. We make you not only present during lunch, but wake up early to go to breakfast. This time we're going to try a lunch. Of course, store will be open, and then we have workshops 1 and 2, and then we'll have that Heritage Maker event on Friday. Same kind of a schedule on Saturday, with finishing up with our HM Formal Awards banquet. Just a reminder on the banquet, this is an opportunity for us to give that special recognition to our presidential awards, our 3 presidential awards, as well as our Best of Heritage. We need your help on that. If you have not taken the time to go in and nominate for those, all of those awards, both the presidential and the Best of Heritage, please do so. It's just such an important award, and we as the company have a big picture of what kind of activity and involvement that you communicate more one-on-one with people, and you have that sense that we can't get, and so we need to hear from you on who you would like us to recognize there. So please make sure that you do that right away so that we can get those taken care of. Let's talk about the workshop schedule. We are changing things up. We had a call with our senior leaders last week, presented a new idea, and actually it was our senior leaders that came up with the idea. At the leadership conference in April, we sent out a questionnaire to our senior leaders and asked them to give us some input on workshops and on the workshop schedules and the breakaway classes. And somebody, and I don't remember who, it was probably a group, suggested that we have a core training section so that all of these go together, especially for our new consultants that come in, or our non-leader consultants that come in. There's really 2 basic parts of the business that they need, and that is workshop, our way of selling, and then team building, a way of understanding why team builds, compensation, how to sponsor, how to build that team, and then how to, once you sponsor somebody, get them started. So that's what we did this year, or we're going to do. Friday, we are going to run 2 consecutive classes from 2 to 4 on workshop core training. This is going to cover everything from filling your calendar, host coaching, the actual workshop, closing the sale, such an important part of the actual workshop. So many consultants spend all that time doing that, and then they don't close, they don't ask, and then following up on those workshops and overcoming objections, any obstacles. The nice part about doing it this way is you can see that it's a 2-hour block of time, so we don't have to give that extra half hour or 20 minutes for transition, 5 minutes for introducing, the presenters. It's a 2-hour block of time, and what we'll do is we'll have several leaders presenting. So it's not the same person presenting for the entire 2 hours. We'll have a team that will work together, and both workshop core trainings will work together so that they're presenting the same material just by different people. So I'm really excited about this because every consultant needs that core training, even you leaders. And that was one of the questions that we asked our senior leaders is, should we offer a leadership core training in addition to this? Well, we have the leadership session on Thursday, so you do get leadership training there. And what we all kind of came to the agreement was is that even as leaders with this transition that the company is in direction of how we sell, what the Heritage Maker business is, that we felt all the leaders should be there as well. When there's a leader in the room, even if you're not training, it really says something. It supports the presenter there. It supports your team. It lets them know you believe in this training. And so we felt it was so important for you as leaders to hear what your consultant's hearing, but also to be able to give that input to them and later. Now, the reason that we're running workshop all in one day and not splitting up, because we could do workshop 1 and then team building at the same time, is we want that conversation on Friday is all going to be about workshops. Everybody's going to come back from their class. They're going to go to your rooms or your meetings or your events. They're going to have questions and buzz and different ideas that they heard and what they're excited about. Gives you an opportunity as a leader to say, what are you going to implement? What did you learn that you're going to bring into your business? How are you going to get those bookings or fill that calendar, or where are you at with that? So I really love this new concept. I think it's going to be so effective. Now, we also understand that there's that desire to get additional training, because it's easy to say, yeah, I know how to do workshops. I may not be doing them, but I know how to do those workshops. So we have one section after that where they can pick another class that doesn't have to do with the basics of the business, workshops or sponsoring or team building, that type of a thing. And these are some of the classes that we'll offer, and these aren't set yet. They will be set by Friday. Using social media. I've had a big request for understanding how to use the reporting in VO, VO Plus, and even other programs that some of you leaders are using to make simplify your business and help with that. Successful DigiCrops is always a big one. Events, fairs, and shows. Finding balance in your business. How do I use that time management to really make my business effective and not affect my family at the same time? That's an important class. Moving from consultant to diamond. This is one we're going to have Wendy teach, and it's basically how she did it. And she did it through what we're teaching in those core trainings. She did workshop and sponsor, and finding that balance and that consistency in your business. Now, the idea here is that we'll run these same training selections on, oh, that went too far. Okay, new computer, hang on, don't peek. Go to previews. We'll run the same thing on Saturday. So Saturday will be, instead of, oh, and I left workshop out there, oops, sorry. It'll be both trainings on team building, core trainings. And then the workshop selection, again, they'll probably be the same classes, maybe different presenters, because there's so many here. They're going to say, wait, I want to go to all of them. You know, how do I do that? And if you feel like we're missing one, could you please type in a suggestion of one that is mandatory? One that I did leave off of here that we don't count as part of the consultant training selection is we will have a husband's class, which is great for the husbands to get together. And that's always held on Saturday, and that will be during that 4 to 5 o'clock session. We'll have that there. So really excited about the workshop training. We'll get this information out to all consultants next week once we get the presenters set. So excited about that part of it. Now, I mentioned earlier those who signed up new consultants, and Britt and Dawn have been talking. Okay, I think I did that on there. Sorry, we work an office away from each other, so we can do that. Have these side conversations without you. Hopefully I made this change that he and I were just talking about, but I may not have. Okay, we know how important Reunion is. It's a great opportunity for our new consultants to really get their business going, to sink their feet into this business and help them to succeed. As we've gone and talked with many of you, our leaders, what was the thing that made the difference in your business? It's always, I attended Reunion, and I attended Reunion. So we want to get those new consultants there. So this is a new consultant sign-up special, and it goes out to all of our new consultants from 2012. We have over 800 consultants that have joined in 2012. 20 of them are registered for Reunion. So we want to make sure that we can offer, that we can get to these other, 780 consultants and give them the opportunity to really get their business started. Now, in addition to this same promotion will apply to anybody that you sponsor from now until Reunion. Now, there's one contingency. There's one obstacle thing here that we're going to partner with you on. If you can register 50 new consultants for Reunion by July 31st, we'll discount their registration by 50%. They'll register for $125 because we want to invest in them to really get their business started. And I know that you want the same thing. The effect that will have on you and your team will just be amazing. So here's the deal. What we're going to do is we're going to set up an item code just for this special thing. We'll go ahead and have them register for that. And then that means that they're willing to make that commitment. We need to get 50. Once we get that 50, we'll go ahead and process those orders. And that means that once we hit 50, anything beyond that we hit 50 by July 31st, any new consultant that comes in will be able to sign up at that same price. Now, that also means once we hit 50 that those 20 that took that leap of faith and that commitment of signing up with us even before the special, they'll also get refunded. Now, think about this. A brand new consultant, well, brand new, could be, all year long, so they could be in the company for 7 months now, can come for $125. And we know you as leaders love to optimize your accommodations. They could pretty much come for virtually nothing, and also if you're driving, carpooling, and things like that. I'm really excited about this. Dawn and Britt did a great idea coming up with this idea of getting our new consultants there, and I'm excited to have them there because it's going to be a great reunion and a lot of good things happening. So,
hey, Patty, I am hearing a couple of consultants saying what they like about this. I'd love any of you to put in, positive or negative feedback on this. We think it's a great opportunity. One question that may be coming up in your mind is what happens if we don't hit the 50 new consultants registered by the 31st? Well, then we wouldn't be able to make that offer to them. Part of us being able to discount the price so much is by getting enough new people there to kind of cover our costs. So there is a little bid of risk in there, but we have over 50 directors. If each of you brought one person, we'd get there. Actually, if you'd really want to set a goal to bring 3 to 5 each within your team, and we'd blow that out of the water. So as long as we get everyone pulling together, it's definitely an achievable goal.
It's interesting. That's the first comment that I made to Britt. Oh, man, I hate doing that because how do you get somebody excited about coming for 125 and then turn around and tell them, sorry, you can't come? And that's where we made the decision to go ahead with this because we're partnering with you. Don't let each other down. 50 is, we have more than 50 leaders. Again, so if each person brought one, then all of you are helping each other build your teams and get them there. And I felt like this is completely attainable. So again, go ahead and type in your comments and let us know your opinions. This has not been released to the field. This has only been released to you as leaders. And I would ask that you don't put this out to your team until we put it out first and let you know. We'll put it on the leadership board so that you know that it's available because I would love your feedback. So that would be great. Thanks, Britt, for talking about that. That's all I had on reunion and the special. I do want to give an update on some changes. Britt's going to talk about the new kit and everything, but I wanted to talk about some changes that are happening in Virtual Office this week so that you, again, as leaders, will be aware. And I think we talked about this with senior leaders last week. We're changing the consultant training section. So right now it says consultant training. It's going to be new consultant training. And basically what it's going to be is the basics. It says, it has your welcome letter, welcome to the Heritage Makers family, and that short, just kind of a welcome. And then everything will be listed in a bullet for a drop-down menu. So you can see here it says getting your business started, and it's underlined. When they click on that, it will lead to another window, which I'll show you in just a minute. Then there will be one that says workshop, host coaching, placing orders. You're going to click on that, and it's going to lead to another set of training. In the new consultant section of the training, it will be the core business. Now, there's lots of information, and there's lots of information you can put on, even about host coaching or workshops or getting started, the extra stuff that a new consultant really doesn't need to know, but is helpful later on in the business. Those kind of trainings will be put into the HM University section. So in the new consultant training, we'll have a section on workshops. In the HM University, we'll have a section on workshops, and that will be that advanced or additional training material that is done by you as leaders that we can add to. But what we want is as a new consultant signs up, you're going to use that checklist that Britt created to get them started, and it's taking them straight to this new consultant training and encourage them to not go anywhere else. They'll find all of the training that they need right here until they've done their first 6 workshops and have gotten their business going. So that's kind of how the training system is going to work. Let me show you what it looks like. So if you were to click on getting your business started, it's going to pop up and it's going to give you these 6 different trainings here that they can click on and listen to. Now, some of these are still in the process of being recorded, and so we'll be getting those updated as soon as possible. This should go live by we're targeting the end of the week. I actually haven't talked to Ryan to see if this is a dev thing. I don't believe so. I think this is something Hillary can do for us. But this training section will happen, and then I'll let you know. That way you can, again, focus your new consultants on going just to that new consultant training section till they have their business going. Then let them go to HM University. They'll find online training there. They'll find event training there. They'll find DigiCrops. They'll find additional helps on sponsoring, additional helps on selling club and closing the sale, and all those great things that enhance your business and build your skills. But really all they need to know right now is the basics of getting their business started. So that's kind of the concept there. All right, with that, let's turn the call over to Rick Cloward. He's got a lot of great information to share with you.
All right, and I'm going to need to steal the screen back. So
you have a couple slides here. Did you?
Should we go through those really
quick? Well,
it's
just that the one picture that you helped me snag off Facebook. Did you put that in your slides?
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, great. Then go ahead and take it.
All right. As I'm stalling to get my computer up, just a shout out for upcoming calls. We've got the new consultant opportunity calls going on, so please make sure you're aware of those. Also, we've got an inspirations class this week, and Roxanne Buchholz will be on the call with Linda Angelastro, so that should be a wonderful call. We had a great call last week with Cynthia Coulon on that call. Okay, let's see. Patty, can you let me know when you can see my screen?
I actually can't see the screen, and so I can't help you. I don't know how to do that.
It should
I'm
pop
blind
up.
At the moment.
You may need to exit out. Well, I'll just assume you can see me. Someone could type in if they can. Yeah, you can see it. Great,
we can
perfect.
See your screen.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, well, let's get going. First of all, I have just a quick Heritage Makers story. Haven't shared one of those for a little bit, and it's an old Heritage Makers story, but there's a kind of a new little side of it. This is a project that my wife made a couple of years ago. It's called When I See You Smile. She used the template from our template gallery. This is probably about 3 years old now, maybe a little bit over 3 years old. If you haven't seen this template, it's just wonderful. She made it for Brinley when it was just probably about 2 would have been. And it says, when I see you smile, I'm amazed at how your adorable face can light up a room. And when I hear you laugh, it sounds like it's coming all the way from your tippy toes. When I help you learn, I know you must be the smartest girl in the whole world. And we'll jump to the end of the book, and it says, but when I see you smile, I'm reminded that there is no greater gift than the sight of your beautiful face. And she took the time to put this book together for Brinley using our template system. And I don't know how much time it took her. She'd probably say more time than she wanted it to take, but it was relatively simple with the template, and gave it to Brinley a couple years ago. And I've seen it around here or there and not really thought a whole lot about it. Till recently, I came home. Some of you may know I'm doing some school right now, and I come home pretty late at night. And most nights that I'm gone, Ginger has invited the kids to fall asleep on our bed, and so my job is to pull them out of the beds and put them back in their rooms. Well, just about 2 weeks ago or so, I went in there to pull them out of their beds, and Brinley's laying on a pillow, and her arms wrapped kind of around and under the pillow, and what does she have in her hands is this book. And as I just was kind of thumbing through the pages there, I hadn't seen her really look at it recently, but I was just so touched that she'd taken the time to read through it. This is a picture of Brinley now. She's 5, and that was when she was 2. As I read through those pages, it just reminded me of how excited she was to receive not only the book, but also just those statements of love that Ginger captured. She took the moment to actually get done and to give to her, and what that must mean to my little daughter, and what that'll mean over the next couple of years. And I've been thinking a lot about our mission lately, and sometimes I forget how much of an incredible business we have, how fortunate we are to have products that we can be just proud of, products that really do touch lives, that everyone wants, that everyone could use, and products that appreciate in value over time, products that will never be thrown away, that will never be put in a garage sale. Just incredible that we get to be involved with a company that has that. I don't know how or why the stars aligned for me to be involved with this company, and for each of you to be involved with the company, but I am so grateful that they did. Out of all the things I could be doing with my time, it's nice to sit back and think through what we're really doing here, what the true potential and power of our products can do for children particularly, or those people that we love. And I'm just humbled today. I really am with what we've been given. I want to commit to you that I'm going to do everything I can to live up to the opportunity that I've been provided to be involved here. And I encourage you to do the same, to live up to the opportunity to share these incredible products, to touch lives, to inspire, instruct, and motivate those customers and those consultants you come to. If you haven't had a Heritage Makers experience like this recently, find the project that you need to make that will do that. Talk to the clients. Get that spirit of heritage working for you in your business, because that's really what it's all about, and it's what makes the whole business work. Well, that's a little Heritage Makers story for you. And I'm going to just go through some announcements now. Get back to work, right, Patty? So first of all, let's talk about just briefly the new kit. It is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. It got brought up yesterday, actually packaged all up. Don posted it in Facebook. It is so cool. You open it up. It says a gift for you. It has this little bag in there. It is just incredible. You're absolutely going to love it. You're absolutely going to love the supplies that you get. They're already shipping. They should be on their way to you. Some of you have already received them, I know, but a lot of excitement there. One note on that: last week, 2 weeks ago, when we talked about the new kit on the company call, I mentioned these checklists. I did a training on them. This is just another shout out that these are critical for your business. They are so good. It's a way to slim down your business. If you just focus on the basics that are listed on the cards, you don't have to worry about anything else. They're the effective things that actually make the business move forward. On that call, we talked about making them available in VO. They've been made into flyers. I've received them. We'll be posting them up in Virtual Office after the call. And so get a jump start. If you haven't received your cards yet, print those out as leaders become very, very, very familiar with them. And then start focusing your training, but also your mentoring. Focus your personal business around the cards. You'll find it's easy to train other people to follow them. I think they'll have dramatic effects in your business. Okay, kit coupon redemption. For any of you who've ordered the supply update kit, those are on their ways too. You'll get that fun little bag with a bunch of little coupons in it. And one note on that coupon: it says a complimentary month of VO Plus. That's for anyone who hasn't signed up for VO Plus before. If you already have that coupon's not really available. We wanted to show you what was in the kit, but that one's actually not a viable coupon if you already have VO Plus. But the ones that are the Show the Love and Share the Love. Show the Love and Share the Love coupons here. We've had people ask, how do we redeem these coupons? To redeem them, there will be a link under the Programs section in Virtual Office. It'll say Coupon Redemption or Show the Love Redemption, Share the Love Redemption. You'll just click on that link, type in the information about the person. So if it's a new consultant, you'll put in their ID number, their name, date they signed up, etc. If it's a Show the Love, you're going to type in the party number, the host ID, information there. And then those are checked each business day, and we add the points onto the account. Each kit has 5 of each, and those coupons are available for the next, are good for the next 2 months, 60 days. So the end of August, you need to have used all those, and then once people get the coupons, the points on their account, they have 60 days to use them. Our goal is to get people not waiting for 2 years, but to jump right into Studio and get those points turned into magic moments. So that's the kit redemption. see if there's any questions that's come in for that. Don't think so. Okay. Club Connections newsletter. Some of you have noticed that we've done a little bit of newsletter changes on this last send. We're going to be making additional changes to the newsletter, try and improve its open and click rates. Our most recent changes saw an increase of more than 500 people clicking to read the article. What we did there is, you can see on the right-hand side, we moved your kind of intro article down below the articles that they click on. What we were finding is when they open the newsletter, they had to scroll down before there was any article to click, especially if you'd like to enter in quite a long newsletter article there. By just moving that down, we got more than 500 people clicking articles compared to the previous month. So that's a lot of fun. We are also needing to change how our newsletter is sending. Currently, over half of the accounts that we send to have not opened the newsletter. Let's see, that's not making much sense since how it's as stated. Currently, over half the accounts we're sending the newsletter haven't opened them within the last many months, let alone clicked on an article. What happens is Heritage Makers is charged per send that we do. And so what we end up having is this huge, huge list of people that we send to every single month, and our costs just increase and increase and increase, but those people don't even open the newsletters. It's a real cost, kind of like photo storage costs of people who aren't actually using the photo storage but just leave it on there and aren't making projects. In order to keep our send rates down and not having to increase the price of VO Plus, we're going to be implementing an auto cleanup program that will remove recipients from the newsletter send list if they've not opened the newsletter within the past 3 months. That'll allow us to keep the send rates down. If we don't do that, we're going to have to find a way to increase the price for VO Plus, and I don't want to do that. I'm sure you don't want to do that. As we've talked to our newsletter partners, they send newsletters for many direct selling companies. They send newsletters for standard businesses, and they were pretty surprised that we don't have a cleanup program in place already. It can also affect your spam scores if you're sending to huge, huge numbers and they're not even opening up your newsletter at all. It can affect those scores. So we're wanting to keep trim and lean and really get the newsletter to the people who want it. If your newsletter, if someone's, basically what will happen is when you're looking at your newsletter list, you can see active newsletter recipients and you'll see removed recipients. Those are people who've removed themselves from the list. They'll move to a removed status. Now, if you have someone who said, you know, I got off, but I'm really interested in getting your newsletter, can I get back on the list? You certainly can. All you do is send them an email through a newsletter through the email a friend. When you're looking at your newsletter, just type an email, send to a friend, you'll type in their email address, it will send them a copy of the newsletter, and then all they can do, they just choose to opt into it, and they'll continue to receive the newsletter, and they'll be opening it because they requested it. I know this is a change. I know for some of you who are excited that you're sending to tons and tons of people, it's a little bit of a change to have it. You won't see as many being sent to, but it overall will improve our scores and it will keep our costs low and keep us being able to offer the newsletter going forward. The timing for that change is the next newsletter. We'll be announcing this week to our VO Plus members and generally as a company, but we really need to get those down so that we that list cleaned up so that we have better send options. Okay, let's see. Someone's saying, can we just increase the price of the newsletter? We can look at increasing the price. From what we've seen and from kind of industry statistics, sending to large groups of people who never open your newsletter isn't a good business practice. It's a little bit of a waste of money on your end if they're not opening the newsletter after a certain amount of time, because they're not even seeing it whatsoever. Opening it, if they actually look at the newsletter, we capture that. The other end is it can affect everyone's spam scores if we're sending to huge, huge numbers of people who just aren't opening the newsletter. So if you're really concerned, shoot me an email. We can look at how we'd increase, maybe there's a package we could do to allow you extra sends. It's just if your rates aren't that high anyway of opens, I'm not sure whether that would make sense to you for you to increase the price, but we could definitely talk through that. Just shoot me an email. Okay, let's see here. HM Photo Storage. You're going to be hearing about this throughout this month. We showed the tools off last month. And we've had some questions coming in on HM Photo Storage, and we've also done some statistics to kind of see who and how it's going to affect people. Some of you on this call, the HM Photo Storage policy will affect. People who are, storing tons and tons of photos on Heritage Makers and not keeping them cleaned up or trimmed or anything like that will end up needing to pay for some of their storage there. But overall, the numbers are somewhat encouraging here. So let's look at those. Basic users. 89% of our basic users have less than 1 gigabyte of photo storage. That means they're not affected by the change in 1 gigabyte of photo storage, 89%. Of the 11% that are affected, 99% of them would only need one 5 gigabyte block to cover their storage needs. That's what is it, 25 points for the year. So we try and keep it as economical as we can. Our goal is this isn't a major cash flow for the company. It's a way to be able to pay for real costs that Heritage Makers incurs for photo storage. Let's look at, let's go back. Let's look at club members. 85% of club members have less than 5 gigabytes of photo storage space. So the vast majority of club members are not going to be affected by this change whatsoever. Of that 15% that are affected by it, half of those people would only need to buy one 5 gigabyte block to have their photo storage needs covered. And again, 25 points per year. So we really are trying to make it pretty inexpensive. We think that's a great option for people. So we look at this, you really get kind of this 80-20 rule. 80% of the photo storage space, and it's not really 80%, but a very few amount of people are using a lot of space. And it's those people who we need them to clean up their photo storage or go ahead and pay for it if they love the service that Heritage Makers provides in backing up their photos online. So why are we making changes to photo storage? As we start contacting people, as you contact people or they contact you, you may have those questions come up. Here's just a couple talking points. We're going to create some more information for you as consultants to be able to get answers to those questions that may arise. First of all, photo storage is a real cost that companies incur, and it also provides a real value. You can see this across the industry. Many different companies charging for photo storage. With my Gmail account, I get a certain amount of photo storage space, and beyond that, I get charged for more photo storage. Apple, Amazon, Mozy, all sorts of people are finding that there are real costs to keep your data secure. But it also provides real value. You've seen just recently over the last year or two, people really interested in cloud storage, in having their photos available across computers. There's a lot of value there. And so that's one talking point. The other talking point is this. Heritage Makers is doing its best to keep your costs down as a customer or consultant by managing our server storage costs. If we just let those go out of hand and go as large as they can, eventually that comes down to your product. It either comes down to increasing the prices of your product, lowering your commissions, or somehow that money, that cost needs to be covered. And so by cleaning up and managing our photo storage to photos that people are actually using, photos that people are putting in projects, or that they actually want enough to pay for some photo storage, by managing that, we're able to keep our costs down of going to business, and that directly impacts your prices. So that's another thing. The other thing that's interesting is photo sizes are much bigger, much larger than they used to be. When we started with Heritage Makers, digital cameras were out and they were starting to become popular, but they hadn't taken the world by storm in any way. And do you remember when you're looking at your photos that are either scanned or taken a picture of, and you saw that strange KB after it, kilobytes? Well, we don't see that anymore. We see megabytes after photos. So the amount of space that photo sizes take have just increased, and that's part of the reason why companies have changed their models with photo storage, and why Heritage Makers is needing to do that to cap and just manage those costs. What we're going to do is create some scripts that will be available when we start communicating these changes with your clients and consultants so that you have things that you can talk to there. Like I said, we're trying to keep it as economical as possible. The majority of your people won't be affected. Some of those people who make a lot of projects may need to buy a block of photo storage, and you may have, a few people who use it, a whole lot, or don't clean up their photos and just kind of upload everything on there, who may have to buy multiple blocks. We hope that it's a reasonable program, and we'll provide you some of the tools to help get through that change. Last slide here. Question has come up on what is an active account. We talk about, okay, I have 1 gigabyte of space or 5 gigabytes of space if I'm a Premier member, but that's for an active account. Basically, this gives us a way, for example, those basic members who have a gigabyte of space but really aren't logging in. It's kind of like those newsletters. We send them for a year or two and they never open them up. Heritage Makers pays those costs every single month for photos that are on that people never get into. So we define an active account this way, and we're tweaking it, we're changing it a little bit, but I think it simplifies it. An active account is one that's been logged into within the past 12 months. So that way, if you've got someone who usually does Christmas projects, by the next time Christmas comes along, they log in, their account's considered active. So they need to log in within 12 months, and they need to either have publishing points on their account that haven't been used, or they've made some sort of a purchase within the last 12 months. It just means they're actively doing something with our business, with Heritage Makers. If they don't qualify, they haven't logged in, we'll send them an email encouraging them to log in or making a purchase, and the email will be stated really nice. Okay, users who have too much storage or have an inactive account will be contacted by Heritage Makers through email, informing them of the policy change and also providing a way for them to remedy their account status. The timing, communication is going to start happening the next just week or two. So that's why I wanted to get this out here. We'll be placing all the program information this week for consultants to read through and review. And then we'll start contacting clients about photo storage changes probably next week into the following week. Tools will be released by the end of the month. All right, Patty, any questions that I didn't cover through that?
There are just a few, though. Can we share this information with our teams now, or do we need to wait until they're scripting, until the company releases that?
I would say just wait. We're working on the scripting right now. Cynthia is writing it all up, and then we'll just place it. Some people may have heard of it. Well, sorry, share. We talked about it on the company call, so you're welcome to talk about this here. If you're talking with your clients about it, you're welcome to do that. You may find that it's easier once we've got communication out broadly to everyone. That way you don't have to handle it here and there. But since we've already talked about it to consultants on the actual call, feel free to talk to them about it.
It's also important because it was sharing those statistics. Most people, if they're complaining about it, they're probably one of the small percentage that are there, and they don't want to hear that they're just a minority. They want you to validate what they're saying. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about it on this call, was you as leaders will be getting the calls just like we get the calls about those, that we've either from the consultants who they've heard about it or they haven't heard about it because they haven't listened, but now they want to complain to either you or to us. They want to voice their concerns. So what needs to happen is you need to listen and to validate that they're frustrated with that, and then give reassurance. And that's what those statistics are for you to understand. This is a small percentage, but as we know, that small percentage can call, if you're getting 2 or 3 calls, you can say, oh, my whole team is, frustrated with this. So that information is really to help you lead your team through this change, which we will fill a little bit. So.
And those talking points I had listed here, that have now disappeared, these talking points really are what help you to do that. We've had different cases here in the where we'll just kind of play devil's advocate. I call in, I'm upset, why are we doing these changes? I've got photo storage, I thought it would never be deleted. And as we've talked through some of these talking points, they're hopefully reasonable. People may not necessarily like it. Change tends to be hard, but if you, like Patty said, validate, I understand those photos are important to you. They're really important to heritage makers, and then talk through some of those talking points. It should help them understand at least the logic behind it.
It's so important that as leaders, you're clear on this before it's not. And if you're not, go upline. Go to your upline leader so that you can get your questions and your concerns difficult. We know that photos are increasing in size, and on to your talking points, that stops them right now. But when you don't, have that conviction, it's really hard. And so if you're not there, please go upline all the way to Britt and I if you need, you have your concerns answered.
Hey Patty, Don just typed in here, and he said, he and Cynthia are working on creating actual scripts, actual wording for you to make the communication easier as you get questions. So he's suggesting you wait to talk about it until we get the announcement up, but also your words or your consultants may. So let's wait on getting that out, and we're working on that, like I said, this week.
Awesome. That was all that I really had. Oh, no,
Great.
There was a question. Sorry. It was stated that you just had to log in. Now they have to log in and have points or purchase in the last 12 months.
Actually, if you look at the company slide that we went on last month, it actually did have logging in and either doing a purchase or points. It was in the last slide that we did. So that's the only change.
So it's been announced
6
to the
months
company
before, and we think we're gonna push it to 12-month login instead of a 6-month login. So, sorry if that wasn't clear on the call or if you missed that part, but it is on that call.
Awesome, and I think that was it. And I'm going to attempt to take the screen back.
Okay.
Can you see my screen okay? I can't see if I can see my screen. Sorry, I have a new computer, and I feel like a little kid trying to relearn new things, which is a great topic. So, okay, we're going to go into leadership training, and we've asked Susie Berg to continue the training that she started last month. And she also has some exciting news to tell you about some of the upgrades and changes that are going on in customer service. So we'll turn it over to you, Susie.
Hello, can you guys hear me today?
Yes, we can.
Loud enough? Okay, perfect. I don't see slides just yet. Let's see if they're coming.
I've clicked over, so it's got your screen. Great changes coming soon is what it says.
Perfect. There we go. All right, fantastic. I know we talked about at TAC. We kind of started this conversation at TAC, and we continued it on through leadership. And we have made a couple of decisions, and we've got some exciting news today. And while this direction that we're going is a big direction with lots of details, we're just going to kind of go over some of it today, and you'll see some of the changes and effects over the next couple of weeks as we implement it. So as you know, we get a lot of questions through support. The issues come in several different forms and several different ways. We've got live chat, and we have emails, and we have phone calls, and sometimes we have text messages. So we receive questions. Do you want to advance the screen just? And from customers in all different ways. And sometimes we have implemented little bits of programs that have been able to track different problems and kind of put problems together or put issues together. But we don't have a program in place that can encompass all of the issues and questions that come in. So what we've done is we have chosen a software that we think will help us to tie all of these areas together. It has lots of layers to it, which is great. We will start off slowly, so it will I'll hold you right there, Patty. It will really not look a whole lot different on your side, but this slide right here is a picture of kind of the program and how it looks to us on our side. On our website, you won't really see a lot of this. One area that you will eventually see some of this is you look at the little right-hand side, it says forums. I think we are still in setup mode for some of these items, and we have to integrate them. We will be integrating several steps of this software into our support department. It does have the capabilities of having consultant support isolated out of it, has leadership support. It's got a lot of organizational type elements to the software, so it's going to be pretty multifaceted, and it's got some great directions that we can go. But we thought we would start off slow and just use the parts that are going to be best for our needs right now. So I'm just giving you like
Susie, this is an area where our clients can go and find out information and such.
Yes, yeah. So what these forums will look like is it's going to be different than perhaps blog posts that we've had before. We've done a lot of market research and a lot of research as far as other sites that personalize or have personalized elements to their printing. And they have, certain parameters or expectations. Like I'm sure, one thing that you've heard is a cut variance or a color variance, and what is that, and how will it affect our product and is printed. So this forum will help to have one place, well, not one place because we love to list places everywhere, so it's easy to find, but one area that we can list some of these really basic expectations and information pieces for the customer. Now this is just customer side only. This software does have capabilities of having a consultant side in conjunction with the customer information, and it's pretty neat. We won't implement that right away, but we hope to, because it's a pretty neat little program. Why we chose this software is it's reliable. The previous screen to this that we clicked over really quick, like Adobe, Groupon, Dropbox, they've got a number of customers that they service. And one of the reasons why we chose to go with a software is because somebody else is an expert in implementing needs that a customer service center for any company, they've already created it. So our development team, they are the experts for our product, and we want them to spend time, making our product supreme. So we have gone with a software that we can implement and use and takes care of our needs and makes us look awesome. One of the immediate benefits that you will see is it has the ability of building a stronger customer service community. What that means is oftentimes, we're kind of left to Facebook and blog posts or things that are, you have a question and you post it one place, but you can't remember who posted or when, or, how do I go back and retrieve that, or I remember that was posted. So this software gives us the ability to have that community right from our website. It has an official side that is a Heritage Makers official statement. It also has the ability to have a community side that is kind of Facebook looking. So you can post questions and things of that nature. And of course, those will take a little bit of time to implement. The forum side will take the most time because we want to give accurate information. The other thing that this software does is it helps us to quickly identify problem areas that we may have. And what happens is we receive a phone call, and customer or consultant is describing an issue. So we immediately open a ticket for that issue. the ticket is assigned to the account and email and other specific information. And so we are quickly able to identify problems based on ticket submission. The other thing that would be nice about it is oftentimes we'll have a customer who will submit an issue, and then they'll CC their upline on the problem, and then we'll get an email from the upline, even though support is taking care of it. And so with this system, we'll be able to say, hey, this has already been identified. We're working on it, and here's the status of this issue. So that's great. The other thing it will provide is better communicated information. It's with the forums and just being able to collect the data and the conversations and work logs. We'll just be able to communicate better with you as consultants on how to deal with certain issues that arise. And one of the other things that I think is great is that we will just look professional and organized, and our responses will be faster and clearer, and we'll just look so good. So that will be terrific. One thing that we would love is your help with this. If you would love to try the system out with me, I would love it. There are certain parts that are not completely developed, but it will give you kind of an understanding of what happens when those tickets are submitted, and in the different, through email, through chat, through phone. They each have an automatic response, and they have triggers, and they have all kinds of just really neat features built in. So if you are interested in being a part of learning a little bit more about CS and how we will correspond with your customers, go ahead and send me an email. I'd love to have you be a part of it. And hopefully it doesn't detract too much from your time. Anyway, that is it for that announcement. Another thing that we are hoping to do is to put a little bit more sizzle into leadership, a little more activity. Sometimes I go to Patty and I say, Patty, it's just a little quiet. We just need some interaction that is inspiring and motivational and kind of helps to propel us and keep us in that mindset of growth. So one thing I would like to do is have weekly motivational moments, I call them, that will be posted on the Facebook. And sometimes there'll be little blurbs of little stories that I write, or blurbs that Britt will write, or Patty, or even just ones that come in to support that we see and hear about. Just to kind of keep that momentum going and keep that feeling of, we are really in a beautiful place here at Heritage Makers, and we are just in that growth mode, and it is a beautiful company with fabulous opportunities. And here are some ways to feel about it, think about it, keep it in that forefront of your mind. So that's one thing that we want to do. The other thing that you've noticed probably is increased recognition. And one thing that we've done is new consultant calls. We run a report that tells us approximately 2 weeks after somebody has signed up, so we want to make sure that they have their kit, and then we give them a call. And we say, welcome to Heritage Makers. We are so excited that you are with us. We want to check on your kit, make sure you've got all the pieces, make sure that you've been in your virtual office. Just a kind of a really quick welcome call. It only takes a couple minutes. They're usually very upbeat and so excited. We ask them if they've had a chance to talk to their upline. And usually most of the people know their upline by name, so that's terrific. And then we guide them to the podcast and the new consultant training calls, and just kind of give them a slight little bit of guidance from home office and a welcome. So that's one thing that we have incorporated. The other thing in leadership is rank advancement and quicker recognition, with the 100 Club Active Clubs milestones. We just have a lot of areas that are exciting to us. Things that you leaders do is just inspiring, and we just want to show it and just show it off. So the other thing is you probably noticed there's a Christmas in July flyer. And so just real consistency in marketing materials, just to make sure that our brand is represented appropriately and conveys the feel that we want to put out there. And so marketing materials will, be examined and looked over and make sure that the consistency is there because, as Britt and Patty showed you some of the elements of the new kit, it is adorable. You open the box or you pull out a package and it has such a happy feel to it of it's just adorable. You'll love it. And the next thing too is increased training for VO Plus. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that just because we're going to cover it at reunion as well. But VO Plus is really an interesting program that we have, and it's a great tool in helping you to increase your sponsoring and increase your customer awareness. So that's just some areas in leadership that we are currently focusing on right now. So look for those. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to email into us, and we do our best to get back to you right away with answers that are helpful and useful. Okay, so on to our leadership principle. One thing that is rudimentary to all of us, and one thing that will help to increase our business is how are we building our best relationships with our customers. One thing that I had to adjust in my sales approach is not assuming whether or not someone was going to buy something from me. Oftentimes, I'm going to take a drink of water because my throat is getting dry. Oftentimes we'll meet somebody and we're human. We sometimes can make assumptions that may not be completely accurate. One of my coaches often said, somebody may not choose to buy with you because you've had bad breath that day, or they didn't like your shoes. That often we make assumptions about people much too quickly. And often our assumptions determine our behavior. And how we then respond to that person can be completely different than if we had taken just 2 seconds and stepped back and said, what can I learn about this person that makes them relatable or makes what I do, can I find something in them that we can all relate to? We often assume when we meet someone how things may turn out. We quickly just, either discount them or just say, oh, they may not be somebody who'd be interested in what I do. And we kind of poo-poo it or, think, oh, I don't know if I should share this message with them. Are we too quick in those assumptions? And most of the time the answer is probably yes. One of the first steps in building any relationship begins with our communication, either spoken or unspoken. One of my grandma's favorite activities is people watching. And my dad grew up in Southern California, and he's a huge Disneyland fan, just huge, off the charts. And my grandma, ever since my dad was 10 years old, would go with him to Disneyland, not to ride the rides, but she loved to just watch people. And she would just go and watch them interact and, gave her a good chuckle and provided hours of entertainment for her. She just loves it. And so she still does that today. And, she'll sit on a park bench and she could say, well, that couple over there is probably fighting and they haven't been together very long. And that mother over there, she is really kind of ticked off at that 2-year-old. And that, girl over there is not having a very good day. And she really kind of paid attention to their body language and facial expressions. And she could kind of, like most of us, she could tell, like, this is not a good time to approach them. But we often have lots of communication that is unspoken, and it's something that we can be aware of. What if you could ask better questions that don't result in a yes or no answer? If you see somebody, hey, have you ever, thought about making a book? Well, no. And then where does the conversation go? It doesn't have anywhere to go. Were you ever interested in scrapbooking? Nope. And so by asking questions a certain way, we can open those conversations. So one way to do that is to not have closed-ended conversations, is what I call them. Those are conversations that end in yes or no as an answer. They're just kind of dead ends. There's usually an awkward silence. You have to figure out where to go from there, and it just makes communicating really hard. But if we switch the way that we think a little bit, and we practice, you really have to practice this, by communicating with open-ended questions, we can keep the conversation growing longer, and we learn a ton more about that person. And it's not a big switch. There's just a few simple tools, and you begin each question with either how, what, when, where, or why. How many pictures do you have? How do you store them? When is a good time to host a workshop? Where do you think you could host a workshop? Why would you be interested in Heritage Makers? Why, why would you love a campus? Lots of questions open up when we switch our language just a little bit. And one thing that I recommend is practicing. Like, don't call someone that you know really, really well, that you have interacted with a lot, and you can kind of read their emotions, and you can kind of know where they're coming from already, but start practicing on them and start changing your questions to start with how, what, when, where, and why, and see what kind of interaction changes in that conversation. And then practice with somebody who you say, okay, I want to try this, and this is how I want to communicate a little bit, and lay it out to them of what you're trying to do. And one thing that I found useful is I would have a conversation, and of course we always resort back to the way that we communicate. We just, until we have a paradigm shift of our belief system, we kind of just talk the way we have always talked and convey things as the way that we've always conveyed until we decide, okay, I don't want to communicate that way anymore. I want to do something that's a little bit better. So this is something that you would have to practice if it's not something that you do already, but the results of it will astound you, and the things that you'll be able to learn about your customers or potential consultants. Just creating open-ended conversations really change the direction of the relationships that you're able to form. And so that is the leadership principle of today, is to just really take a look at the communications that you are having in the relationships that you're building. Oftentimes in support, I talk to people and I say, I know what you are doing is very personal and private, and that creating with Heritage Makers really touches the heart often, because you are, you're looking at photos of when you were 5, or you're looking at photos of grandparents or your children or your husband or your best friend, and oftentimes those pictures remind us of the memories that we've had with those people. And we are doing something active with those photos in our life and those stories that are in our hearts and our souls. And so what we do is very intimate and personal with people, and it really has the ability to really reach people, and that is priceless. So examine your conversations and see if you can make just slight adjustments to them, and see how it works for you. And we'd love to, hear those effects. Lastly, I do have a leadership challenge that I found as a great resource. And in conjunction with this, that we assume quite a bit from people when we meet them, is, how do we not do that? How do we not assume whether or not our product is right for them, or whether or not they would be interested in signing up to be a consultant, or just assuming, if they even like us? Not to that degree, but let's see, I'm going to have you forward. Oh, there it is. I was on a different screen. So one recommendation that we are making is that you, if you haven't read it already, it's been out for quite some time, is to go find a copy of the book Blink. Amazon.com has it, Barnes & Noble has it, your library has it, friends might have it, so ask around. It's been around for a little bit, but it is a very interesting book. It kind of delves into what happens in the first 2 seconds of when you meet someone and what your mind and does and how it responds to people, that person that you are talking to. And it just really kind of challenges where you're coming from to see if you can be a little bit more open-minded about the people that you meet in life, and that really people make a difference to us by those relationships that we build, and that we want to capitalize, not really capitalize, but not miss out on those opportunities of those deep, rich relationships that we can build with people. Not just any old people, but people that become our lifelong friends and lifelong members of our teams, and people that just ends up making a difference in your life and you making a difference in their life. And just really, taking the heritage conversations one step further, and how do I really make this business a part of who I am, and how do I share it, and how do I live it. And this book, I think, would really, make you challenge a few things that maybe you've assumed about people. So the challenge is to find the book, read it, and then we'd love to hear some feedback on, how it's made a difference to you and how you think about people. That's it for today. So we'd love to receive some emails about helping us with testing our new software system. But we hope that you have a great day. I'm going to turn it back over to Patty.
Great. Thank you so much, Susie. We appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for being on the call. We've gone a little bit long, but great information. A lot of exciting things happening and coming with Heritage Makers. A lot of excitement. I finally got to the question section. A lot of excitement about reunion and getting our new consultants there. You leaders saying totally can get 50. So that is very exciting. So watch for more information coming to you on Facebook and in outside emails. We will talk to you again towards the end of the month. Have a great July. Thank you, everyone.